To be legal in the heritage season, you need to make sure that you're using the correct equipment. And by the way, the heritage season this year in 2024 is December 14th through December 22nd. But there are some restrictions on what kind of equipment you can use. So to start with, during the heritage season, you can only use plain lead projectiles. They can't be copper coated. There cannot be a pre-prepared paper or metallic cartridge. You cannot use sabots, gas checks, or other similar power and range enhancing manufactured loads. So plain lead projectiles come in a variety of different configurations. I've got a couple examples here. This is a 58 caliber lead projectile that would be used in a Civil War type rifle. That's kind of an old-fashioned projectile. Probably the most common would be a round lead ball, known as a round ball. These are often used with the cloth patch that helps improve the accuracy of it. And then there's a couple of modern versions that are plain lead, and these are just cast lead bullets that are legal to use during the heritage season. So the first legal requirement is to make sure that you are using plain lead projectiles only. A couple examples I brought with me that come up. This is a sabot. It's a copper coated bullet or copper jacketed bullet with a plastic case around it. That would not be legal to use. And then we get this question quite a bit. This is a power belt, and it is a lead projectile, but it has a plastic base on it, and that would not be legal to use during the heritage season. I like to say that for the heritage season, your muzzleloader and your ammunition should be something similar to a modern reproduction of what would have been in the Civil War on back through history. The second requirement is the rifle has to be charged with black powder, Pyrodex, or an equivalent loose black powder substitute. So there's a variety of different black powders and black powder substitutes on the market. I've got a couple of examples here. This is actually real black powder. And then there's Pyrodex, which is a black powder substitute, and there's a number of other substitutes on the market that are legal. But the key here is it has to be black powder or a substitute, and it has to be in the loose form. You can't use pellets or any kind of pre-compacted charge like that. Moving on, the ignition for your heritage muzzleloader needs to be a flintlock, wheel lock, or percussion mechanism. The most common mechanisms are going to be a flintlock or a percussion mechanism. Flintlock is the older variety of ignition for a rifle, and a flintlock will have a hammer on the lock here with a piece of flint in it. It creates a spark off of what's called the frizzen and ignites powder which in the pan, which then translates into the main charge. Flintlocks are a little bit more difficult to shoot, and they're kind of a specialty thing for people that are really into muzzleloaders, but they're a lot of fun, and I would encourage anybody that's interested in this to try. The other mechanism that is legal to use is a percussion mechanism. I have a couple of examples of that. This is a percussion mechanism for this Great Plains rifle. And in the percussion mechanism, you use what's called a percussion cap, and it sits over the part here called the nipple. And when the hammer falls down on the percussion cap, it basically explodes, and it lights the main powder charge in the barrel. These are both semi-reproductions of historic rifles. There are also modern rifles that can be used in the heritage season. I have an example of one here. This is a modern rifle with a composite stock, but it is also a percussion ignition, and it has the same components, a hammer, a nipple, that you put the percussion cap on. Per the regulations, the percussion caps needs to be either a standard percussion cap or what's called a musket cap. Percussion caps come in a couple of different sizes. This is a number 11 percussion cap. It's pretty small. And then a musket cap, which is a little bit bigger. Both of those are legal to use. A couple other things. The rifle has to be at least 45 caliber. It can have no more than 2 barrels. Can't use anything that's capable of being loaded from the breech. And you can't use a rifle that's mounted with a magnification device. So the question about inserting an open cap into the breech of the barrel comes up frequently with the heritage season. Basically, for it to be legal, you should be using a muzzleloader that has a side lock mechanism that is having the percussion cap go onto a nipple that's on the side of the gun, and the gun has a lock on the side. Some modern muzzleloaders have mechanisms where you insert a cap into the end or the breech end of the barrel. Some of them will have a hammer that strikes that, some of them will have a bolt that strikes that. Those are not legal. Those are an inline or modern style muzzleloader, and they're not legal to use during the heritage season. Your heritage season muzzleloader needs to have a side lock on it or something that is traditional. It's heritage season. It's meant to celebrate our muzzleloading heritage in America, and so it needs to be at least of a traditional style, even if it is a modern rifle. That's a basic overview of the different kinds of muzzleloaders and ammunition. If you have any questions or you're not sure if the rifle you have is legal to use during the season, I certainly encourage you to reach out to your local Fish, Wildlife, and Parks office. I also have 5 tips for the heritage season. My first tip is review the regulations and make sure your muzzleloader is legal to use during the heritage season. Check the hunting district that you're planning on hunting. All hunting districts have different regulations, so please check yours to make sure that it's legal for you to hunt during the heritage season. Again, a reminder to only use plain lead projectiles. They're the only thing that's legal during the heritage season. My 4th tip is to practice with your muzzleloader before the season to improve your marksmanship and make sure you know how far you can shoot accurately. And my final tip, keep your powder dry.